Alrighty, everybody, welcome to another episode of I Never Met a Stranger I Didn't Like. And I'm your host, Phil Tubbs, and I have an awesome guest with me here today. I have Jody Moore, the executive director over here at Safenetservices. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Good. Well, hey, thank you for giving me the time to come on here. I know you're super busy. You got a lot of stuff going on here. There's so much that you guys do here that some people might not even realize, and that's kind of one reason I wanted to have you on the show, because maybe somebody listening out there that may be in a situation that they don't know how to get out of, and there's some resources here that we may be able to help some people.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Right in our backyard.
I'm super excited that you guys reached out and you're here today. So,
well, I do appreciate it. And I'll tell you this, I forgot all my memory cards. Like, of course, the one thing we need. And she was patient enough. She sat here and watched my equipment for me and everything. So, like, it makes me feel better. I get nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, I mess everything up for the beginning. She's like, no, you're good. Go get it. Yeah. So, yeah, totally chill. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate you working with me. So let's talk a little bit before we kind of get to dive in and know you. Let's talk about Safenet a little bit. Like, if some people might not even know what it is here, you guys do, what kind of stuff and services do you guys provide here?
So, of course, most people, when they think of Safenet, they think of our emergency shelter. Mm-hmm. We do have a shelter that has 10 rooms and 35 beds. And so that helps to provide most basic needs to somebody that may be fleeing domestic violence, experiencing sexual assault and or stalking. So it gets them to a safe place. We provide essentials there. So you're thinking food, clothing, shelter, water, things of that nature. In our shelter, our guests, they receive essentials for 3 meals a day, snacks. A lot of times when somebody is fleeing a situation like that, it is very dire. Yeah. So we provide they may come with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Mm-hmm. So we have our Second Impressions resale stores that I think was talked about in a previous episode.
Yeah, of course.
And
that's over there right off of Will Rogers Main Street, right back there off. It's on Cherokee.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it's over there. And so our clients, they will receive vouchers to get immediate needs met. Upon exiting our shelter, we can give them vouchers as well. Oh, awesome. So they can get whatever they need, household items, things like that.
So it's not only like a fundraiser for you guys to help raise money and keep things going, but also helps out the people that are going to. So when they do donate, they're really kind of giving a double whammy there.
Absolutely. So, our items that we receive there as donations, they're stocked as a resale store. So all of our thrifters out there that shop Second Impressions, they're supporting monetarily to help support the services that we offer because we are a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And then something that other people don't realize about Second Impressions is we offer community vouchers as well. So if there is somebody that is in need, once a quarter, they can go to our admin offices and they can receive vouchers to help, fill whatever it is that they're lacking.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that either. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll tell you a lot of things.
I know there's going to be a lot. I'm probably one of those people that don't realize about all the stuff that you guys actually do here, because like you said, we kind of know it as a shelter spot for people to come, I know I had a personal friend that used your guys' services to help with visitize supervision and things like that. And it really helped her because she was in a spot that, she needed to get out and kind of get on with her life and do that stuff. And you guys helped her real here. And I ended up doing the walk a mile in her shoes with her a few years ago because we worked together. She was like, oh man, let's do it. Let's join my team. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it then. And so I know a little bit, but I really don't know the whole gist of what you guys do here. So besides helping with the domestic abuse and kind of trying to get away from that, what other kind of services, I said, with the supervised visitation and things like that, what kind of other things is there that they could get here?
Absolutely. So first of all of our services are free for survivors. And so, our shelter, all of that stuff, and then the other services that I'll talk about are free for survivors. We do not charge them for any of that. But we offer an array of groups. We offer therapeutic groups. We offer a healthy relationships group that teaches people to know what a healthy relationship looks like, red flags, green flags to look for in relationships. A lot of times whenever somebody is in a relationship with an abuser, they don't realize, or maybe they've never seen a healthy relationship. So it's something that they started as a child, seeing abusive behaviors. And so as a human, you begin to normalize that.
It's normal.
And so that's kind of on both sides of the spectrum. So that's not only the victim of abuse, but also the abuser. They go through their life just seeing that as a normal thing that you do. So I had mentioned shelter. We also have a whole bunch of outreach services that are offered. And so those could be utilized by our shelter clients and or by other individuals that maybe don't have a need for emergency shelter. So that would be our counseling services. And as some of the groups that I had already mentioned, healthy relationships, we have an empowerment education group.
Oh, awesome.
We have a group called Building Balance. It's based off of a therapeutic modality called dialectical behavioral therapy. And so we also offer yoga to clients.
There's just so much there.
Yes.
Really.
Yes. And so we have an empowerment educator that works with them to maybe help assist with document replacement. So as I mentioned, somebody may come here, they have nothing but the clothes on their back. So how do I get a job if I don't have a driver's license? I don't have a birth certificate or social security card. So they'll work through that process because that seems like something that's very easy. But when you're in a high state of trauma, everything can be overwhelming. So maybe you've come here and now you're living in a communal situation and all of your normal life has been just completely uprooted and you're in this new situation. And so having somebody to walk through those processes with them, help assist with job hunting and resume building. So there's just a lot of different groups and things of that we offer. In terms of the yoga, it focuses on, like breathing techniques and meditation and things like that. Somebody to help calm your nervous system whenever you've been in a relationship with an abuser. A lot of times your nervous system is used to being so up and down. And so just learning how to regulate yourself if you do feel triggered when you're out and about. And that could be a trigger from a friend, a family member, somebody that's not an abuser, but it could trigger your body to respond to, this seems familiar, so this worked in my life, so you automatically go with that.
That PTSD really does come into play. People don't realize the aftermath of what happens. Yeah, you've gotten out, things like that, and you're starting to work out, but you still got a lot of things that we're still working through.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's where our groups and our therapy come into play, and that's really helpful. We have a sexual assault advocate on staff, and so she works strictly with sexual assault survivors. And so what that looks like is it could be something current or something from a long time ago. If you haven't worked through those things, it's just like having a broken arm and not treating that. It's something that has to be worked through. And so she has groups that she offers. She also goes into the jail here and offers groups to those in the jail. We do a lot of community outreach. Our advocates and staff are very knowledgeable in the field. And so they go out and just provide, like today we had a community workshop on how to be a safe person. So things that you maybe don't realize could impact that relationship with somebody that has experienced that, just throwing out there like, oh, you should do this or you should do that. A lot of times is not helpful in those situations. And we come at it from a place where we want to help people. However, it's not always helpful.
So I get that. People sometimes they don't understand that situation. They're like, oh, well, you just got to do this. You'll get better. I did this. You can, you just got to do this, or get away, just pray, do this, or do, and you're going to be okay. And sometimes that's, that's not really the case. And when your brain kind of goes into a tailspin, like you said, there's a lot that's going on. They're leaving their life behind. Everything's changing. They've got, like I said, they may not have anything. the whole situation is just a hard situation. And, you know, somebody out there that may be in that situation is going, I can't do this because I can't get out there. I can't do it by myself. So not to say that it's not going to be hard, but you guys are here to make it a lot easier to help you kind of get through the steps so they're not alone.
Oh, absolutely. We are here not to tell them what to do, but to walk that journey with them. We let them be the authors of their own story, and we're just here to help assist. We may, you know, provide options, but it's up to them to determine what's good for them in that moment, because we don't know their life. They do. So we also offer court advocacy. So we have an office here in the courthouse where our court advocates are housed in Rogers County. And so they help file protective orders. They help, you know, attend court hearings and things like that with clients, because the legal system is another manner that abusers will utilize to draw them to come back or just to continue that abuse.
Yeah, just to keep it going.
And we also have an office in Pryor. And so we offer services in both Rogers and Mays counties.
So if you're in, you know, if you're anywhere around us, you've got somewhere you can go that you can get some help if you're kind of in that situation, because there's a lot of resources out there and you guys are here to help, like you said, to kind of help them direct, you know, their path and give them some options to kind of show them where they're you know, where to go next and kind of get those ideas. Because I know I've suffered with mental health issues and things like that. And when you get to a certain point, your brain almost just kind of shuts off. The normal things that you do every day just don't work. It doesn't come out the same way. It doesn't work. The words don't come out, things like that. And so it can be stressful. So I think that's really awesome that, you know, we do have this in our own backyard that,
yeah. And kind of with that, it looks a little bit almost, you know, the way that I explain it is living in a traumatic experience is almost kind of like what you would see like shell shock, you know, in a movie or whatever. Like everything's happening around you, but it's like you're in this fishbowl and you can't get out, or like you're drowning, you're trying to swim and somebody's pushing you down constantly, you know what I mean? And so a lot of people that are, especially in our shelter, are living in that, you know, in that moment. We also offer supervised visitation. You were talking about that, and safe exchanges. And so a lot of times that's court ordered. It's just a safe place for a non-custodial parent to maintain a relationship with their child. And so it could be for a number of reasons. A lot of times people don't realize that a victim of abuse could be the ones that actually got their children taken away. And so what that looks like is maybe DHS came in and said, you're not protecting your child. And so they'll take the kid away or kiddos away. And so we just provide that safe space for them. Or sometimes abusers are very clever. Maybe they're the ones that got the kid. They made the other parent look bad, and, you know, so they end up taking the kids, you know, and so we see both ends of the spectrum there. And so, but it's just that safe space for the kid to maintain that relationship with that parent. And we also offer, it's called our Changes program. It's a batter's intervention program, which is a 52-week program for the perpetrator of violence. And so that is just like a psychoeducational group where it just teaches the perpetrator, you know, again, like I mentioned before, okay, so I grew up seeing this, so this is what's normal in my life. You mean to tell me that I'm not supposed to get angry and belittle my partner?
Right.
And so we offer that. That is a paid program. And so the perpetrators, they would come through for an entire year.
That's awesome. Helping both sides of it, you know, because somebody, like you said, may not realize what's happening, you know, what they're doing is not right or just not the norm. And it can cause not just to the wife or your significant other, to the kids and to yourself, you know, because you're forming this idea of who you are and what you're supposed to be off of old images that just aren't right. And I think we've kind of seen, you know, there's a lot of things that a lot of adults now, you know, in their early 30s and things are seeing that their kids, that their parents had done, and they go, oh, that wasn't great, you know, because we are starting to see things. And so I think that's awesome that we can kind of have that, you know, somebody can, because people can change, they can work on themselves and they can grow regardless of what end they are on that. Because, you know, we all make a lot of mistakes. It's just the way life is. And but once you own up to those things and really what you do afterwards, I think really says a lot more than what you did do. Because if you're going to go in there and do something like that and you're like, yes, I want to change, I want to be better for my family, that's awesome. And that's great that you guys give that and not just kind of push them away and kind of say, well, it's too bad for you.
And a lot of times it is a court-ordered program, so it is somebody that's been in the legal system. They go through an intake process, so it's not somebody that has,
voluntarily came.
Sometimes we have had, but a lot of, I guess, for instance, like not somebody that is like, has strangled their victim or things like that. They're real high violent offenders that are not suitable for the program.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Because, it makes things a little bit uneasy for everybody else too. Yeah, that makes sense. But for a certain area that you guys can help kind of on that end of it too.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
awesome because, it is a family and building that back up and, that helps the kids see things too, like, hey, dad is working on himself too. Like, I get it now, that can kind of help and go a long ways when it comes to, being a parent and kind of putting that example out there for their child and stuff. So,
we do have a crisis line as well. And so that's manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a local crisis line that Safenet operates. There is a national one and a state crisis line, but we do have one that's local to us as well. And so we operate that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so I think I've hit most of the things, at least very briefly.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot that you guys are doing over here. So that's a lot for you. That's a lot of hats to wear, to be able to be the executive director over, of this. Like, that's a lot. Like, how do you kind of like keep going and keep yourself motivated and seeing those things, because it could be a hard job. You see a lot of bad things and that could wear on you. So like, what kind of how does it keep you going and keep you motivated? Because that would wear on me.
Absolutely. First of all, I have the best team possible. And I every chance I get, I try to brag on them because, whenever I come on at Safenet, somebody had asked me, what are you going to do there? And I'm like, I don't know, executive director things. I don't know what you do as an executive director of a domestic violence agency. But, the more I thought about it, the more I knew that a huge portion of what my role here is to support my team. I meet with them regularly, and I tell them often, like, I may not be able to fill your need right now, and some things I may never be able to, but I am going to work as hard as I can to provide what I can for you so you can provide more for our clients. Because, as the director, I kind of navigate the ship, if you will, make sure that we're selling in a good direction, provide the vision, work with the board very closely. I do wear a lot of hats, but a huge portion of what I do is I support my team so they can support clients better. There was an instance where, whenever I first come on, one of the big things I did is I sat down with each staff member and said, what do you need to do your job better? And I think that there was an instance where somebody had asked for something and it took me over 2 years to provide it because as a nonprofit, I had to find money for it. But if it's not in my mind, then I'm not looking for a way to fund it. And so, I eventually was able to do that, and I would love to say that I will be able to meet all those needs, but unfortunately I can't always, but, I try as hard as I can. And so that's where I work super hard, is just do everything I can to support my team. And they are just phenomenal. I can't say enough how great they are.
That's awesome. It's people it's not just you. It takes a whole team. It takes it takes a community of people to working together to make something work. We get a lot of people, like, oh, I did this, I did that. It's not just one person in even a business, anything, whatever it is. It's not one person. It's a team that's kind of building it up, and that's great that you kind of have that backing, that that support, because that makes it not less stressful for you on your end of it too, because you have that good team. You can they're going to do their job. They're going to do what they need to do and have to do, and figure out things to maybe, like you said, you can't always get what they need at that moment, but kind of work ways out of it and try to figure out, okay, let's make this work now, in a situation, how can we do this? And so that's kind of, that's a hard part. It's a problem solver.
Absolutely. And I always tell them you can't teach passion, and I have a team of very passionate people. Awesome. And so they absolutely pour in day in and day out for our clients to provide the best care that they can. And I just am very fortunate that I get to work with them for sure. Actually, I feel like I work for them. I always say I have a lot of bosses. I say that most of my team, they're trying to keep me in line because I'm over here trying to do this. And they're like, no, come over here. You got to do this. Oh, okay. I'll do that then.
Oh, yeah, I got to do that first, right? Yeah, good.
I'm glad y'all keep me in line.
So I have my wife to do that for me. She's like, if it's not there in front of me or my calendar, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And my wife's like, hey, we have this going on. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's like a lot of people use it as an excuse, like, oh, let me talk to my wife and see. Like I legit got to talk to my wife and see what's going on because she probably did tell me. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
It went in one ear and out the other. So she's always like, we're going over here. You're going over there. So yeah.
I get it. Yeah. We, one of the things you had talked a little bit about, like what do we do? I am a big proponent of self-care. Mm-hmm. So I have a great team, but I also myself do a lot of self-care, but I also encourage my team. And that's actually one of my top interview questions I always ask in a job interview is, what do you do for yourself? What do you do for self-care? Because what we do here is very heavy. And so if we're not keeping that in the forefront, I always say you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Exactly. So if we're depleted, we can't serve our clients to the best of our abilities. And if anybody follows me on Facebook, which I hear people say they're seeing all my adventures all the time, they see that I am a very, very big into self-care myself, and a lot of times people think self-care is going and getting a massage or this or that. It can be, but there's so many other things. I journal a lot. Mm-hmm. Nobody come in my house and find my journals.
I started journaling too this last year, and there's some pretty crazy stuff in there that I read myself, and I go, ooh.
I always laugh. I'm like, if, somebody comes in and reads these, they're going to be like, what was going on in her head? Because I'll be like 1 minute on this tangent about this that happened or this that happened. And then all of a sudden I'm writing a prayer out, so it's a little all over the place. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. You can't believe what happened today. So anyways, big journaler. Sometimes I just like to go sit outside. I live on 5 acres. And so I just go put out a blanket and I just watch the clouds, watch the stars. That's self-care for me,
That sunlight.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to read. I read a lot of books. I love to hike. So almost every weekend I try to do some type of outdoor adventure, some sort of hike. We have great mountain bike trails here locally.
Some of the top ones around, legit.
Yeah. So, Rory does a phenomenal job and his team and everybody that just continues to volunteer their time to work on them and keep them maintained. So that's a huge gym that we have here in town. That's a super easy to pop over there. So just last weekend, I went with my sister and we did, 5 miles real quick. Mm-hmm. And because
real quick.
Yeah.
5 miles real quick, it was nothing. I'm like, 5 miles? What?
Yeah, we did a quick 5 miles. Sometimes, it just depends on the trail,
Because some of those you're going pretty quick.
Yeah. So my dad has a property. I go out there, and that's why I say real quick. It takes a little bit longer for me to get to my dad's property. Okay, so it's like an hour and a half drive there and back in order just to hike for a quick 5 miles. So it becomes a much longer trip.
So you say real quick, it's just right the corner.
Yeah. Of course, Turkey Mountain, or I love to go to Arkansas. And so I try to break away and go out there as often as possible. It's super close.
Ozarks are just gorgeous. There's so many different things throughout there that we go up to Roaring River in Missouri and go fishing up there. We like trout fishing. My family does. And so, going up there in the mountains, Eureka Springs, all that kind of stuff, getting in, we like to go into the caverns and things like that too, because to me, I'm just like, this is just amazing what the earth can do. The beauty of it, you really do. I think, like you said, being out there hiking and doing that, you absorb that energy from outside. You just really feel, the sunlight. People don't realize that's really does do a lot for you. Oh, it does.
And I read an article. I've never really researched it, so this could be completely bogus, but I read an article one time and it was talking about how decaying trees actually help with depression. And so I don't know if it releases some sort of chemical into the air. I don't know if it's true.
Like a smell. Well, they say that plants do talk to each other through like chemicals and the off-put. So there really is, that's probably not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, there's the whole grounding thing, right?
Yeah,
so,
of course.
If you follow me, you'll see that I have a hashtag yogi hippie hiker.
Yeah.
And so I add that on a lot of things because, myself and my friend, one of my best friends, Sarah Wallace, she owns the Ethos Yoga Studio downtown. And I actually teach yoga for her.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Another thing.
Another hat to put on there.
Yes, I got a lot of those. But we co-host a yoga retreat. And so one time somebody said something about like, I think you're a little bit of a hippie. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not a hippie. And I'm like, let's take our shoes off and we're going to go stand in the grass. And I'm like, maybe I am a little bit of a hippie.
It's all right to be, hey, I think it's refreshing to be a little bit of a hippie. I got a little bit of hippie in myself too. So yeah.
Yeah. And then I have another friend that always tells me hippies use the back door. And I'm like, what?
We don't want the riffraff coming in the front.
Yeah.
Love it.
So anyways, like I said, I do teach yoga at Ethos. I do hot yoga typically, which is a vinyasa style class. And so that's an early morning class. People are like, whoa, that's real early, 5:30 a.m. But
I'm an early riser, so I kind of get that.
Yeah. We get it out. We get it done first, and then the rest of the day happens.
See, that's why I like it. That's get up, I get up early because I get my time to myself. I can meditate. I can listen to my sounds that kind of like make me feel good and being on myself. Because I got 3 kids at home, and they're all 9 and under. So
oh, wow.
It's always, Dad, Mom, Dad, and screaming and going. So that's my time to get up and kind of center myself and get ready for the day.
Absolutely.
Hop in the shower, get washed, and then I turn on the cold water and I just give myself a shock,
Yeah.
I'm not fully into the full, like dipping myself into the ice water yet. I haven't quite got there. I'm building myself up to it. I'm like, I can't do it.
I have some students that have done that. I have a student that was doing that very regularly. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't do cold water. I'm like the one that has the tankless hot water tank. And I turn it all the way up to as hot as my body can stand. So it's like bright red.
That's my wife. I'm like, Daddy, it's going to hurt. She's like, that's not that hot. Yeah, no, me, I'm like, I like it medium. I like it right in the middle. But I get that cold and I'm like,
oh yeah, I can't breathe.
I just put it over my head. I'm like, I can't breathe. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I kind of do feel it says, kind of like clenches all your arteries and just then pushes. And so it pushes a lot of the blood to your heart and things like that. And then they says your liver like kind of releases a chemical that kind of is it makes you feel better. It kind of gives you that adrenaline rush. And I'll tell you, after I do the cold shower, I do feel pretty pepped up. I'm like, all right, let's go, guys. Like, let's get ready for school. I'm making lunches and breakfast. Let's go. And my wife's like, oh, kind of just woke up, and she's not a morning person, never has been. And I am, and I'm always like trying to walk around and be quiet. But I'm like my dad. My dad, he's awake. It's man, what are you doing to the dogs and stuff like that. But yeah, that morning time, I think that would be like, honestly, probably the perfect time for yoga. Get ready, stretched out for the day, ready to just kind of center yourself. And,
great start to the day. So, I usually do yoga, practice yoga 3-4 times a week.
I've always wanted to get into yoga. I've just never done it. I get the ideas. I'm like, I'm going to do yoga because I've had multiple people tell me that'd be good for you. I have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia and things like that. So my joints just get stiff, and especially when the pressures change like this, and they're like, oh man, you need yoga. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And then of course
come check us out, and all types of yoga is not.
I've known Sarah for quite a few years. I knew her sister, I worked with her sister, so I've known them for
she's a wonderful human, one of my favorites on the planet.
Yeah, so maybe I do need to come check it out. Maybe I'll just come one of your hot classes and just kind of sweat it out and just see what it's about.
Yeah, we're there. So we just changed the schedule. So I teach Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 in the morning. So come check me out there for sure. Yeah.
And if anybody else is looking for yoga.
Oh yeah. There's all sorts of different classes. It's not just at 5:30 in the morning. They have them, I think there's one maybe at 7 at night, I mean, they're all over, sprinkled throughout the day, 9 a.m.
Kind of fit in everybody's schedule.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then they have more than just yoga, and there's different types of yoga. So whenever I first started practicing yoga, I did not like it. And so all the classes are not the same. So it depends on what type of yoga you're practicing. So I like a good vinyasa class, which moves a lot. So I told you earlier, I don't set well. And so that was the problem. I was doing a style where like a restorative type class, which they're all great. I mean, they're all really good classes and serve their purpose. I just don't do well to sit there in a pose for 2 minutes. You know, I start thinking of this and I'm like, oh, I probably should be doing this or that, you know, and so with vinyasa, you're building up poses and it can be more of a challenging workout, you know, so you may throw in some arm balances or, you know, hold those power poses a little bit longer, things like that. And so anyways, I've found that I love vinyasa, but please don't make me do yin or restorative. I can get by with deep stretch, but still not my preference.
Yeah, see, I'll probably be right there with you too. I need to be moving around. I don't like that. Like when I meditate, I don't do, you know, people think of meditation, they think, oh, you just sit there and, you know, you're fully, I can't do that. My brain just goes, like you said, it's thinking about this, this, and this. And for me to be able to stay focused and to really feel that, you know, like that centering and feeling calm, I've got to be able to kind of let my brain do a little bit of work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I've got to be able to kind of do that. And so, you know, if I have an itch, I'm going to scratch it, you know, things like that instead of, because any other time in regular meditation, you're not supposed to do that stuff, you know, let it go. And I can't do that. If I can itch on my nose, this is going to get worse and worse and worse until I scratch it. You know,
now you're going to make my nose itchy.
Now we're going to say you're doing this.
No, but I do meditation as well. I love meditation, but it's something that I can focus on. So like it's not usually just like a silent meditation. Again, there's different types of meditation. And so I can listen to something and get lost in that. But like, and so I'm focused on that, but I just can't sit there with free thoughts flowing in my head. Like there's a lot of them all the time.
Exactly. That's like, I'm right there. I feel you. It's like, I got it. Because that's why I have my music playing behind me, because I can, that kind of, I don't know. I'm ADHD, so I got this, like my brain's always going. And whenever it gets to a point to where it gets too quiet, it's almost like a staticky sound in my head. And that almost bothers me more than the loudness of it. And so I have to have always some, even when I'm working, I have music going on in the background, just something going, just because I have to have that extra little sensory throw in there. And music that's just my thing. It just gives me
I get it. I like music. I like all types of music, and I love to dance. Like I just turn up the music, and so if you ever see me driving down the road and I'm dancing in the car, I'm sorry about it. Like
I'm in my car, I'm doing my own thing. Yes,
mind your business, please.
I always like it when I pull up beside somebody and I can see they're really getting into it. And I'm like, I kind of want to get into it too. Like, what's up? You know, they're like, oh gosh, you know, and they're like,
we're dancing together. Yeah,
it's all right. I'm here too. It's okay.
Yeah. My son absolutely hates it. He's like, Mom, stop. He's 12.
He's 12, so yeah, of course, you're the embarrassing mom.
Yes, and I am here for it. You know, I mean, whatever. I try to teach him, you know, people are going to judge you and they're going to think things. And, you know, I mean, it's taken me a lot of years. I've said for a lot of years that I don't care. Right. And sometimes I still have to remind myself that I don't need to care. I'm
right there with you. I understand that thought, yeah. It took me a long time to figure out, like, it doesn't really matter. And I still struggle with that because I have that idea of like, well, I've got to have that perception. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, I don't want people to think poorly of me because I'm dancing in my car. Yeah, like, what? Why are you thinking about me dancing in my car?
Yeah, go worry about something else.
More things to worry about. There's plenty of things to worry about.
People always try to find something to get mad at.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, you should be paying attention to the road, not dancing. I'm looking at the road. I'm still dancing.
We're good. I'm just doing a little bit of here, you know, like driving.
You know what I do for a living? I'm a multitasker. I do everything. I wear lots of things. Come on.
It's just a little bit of shoulder movement. Right? That's all.
Yeah, you're not spinning around.
Bobbin.
So funny. We went on vacation and my wife's Nana rode with us and she's 83. And so she had her her headphones on and she was listening to her old school little iPod Nano that they gave her like years ago, like this thing. And it's in pretty good shape. I was kind of jealous. I'm like, yeah, I miss those. But she was listening to music and she said when we got up there, she had told my mother-in-law that, man, he just had that music up like super loud and he was just bobbing his head and going. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of, I got a 12-hour drive. I got to be able to keep it going, keep that juice going.
Gotta have a tune in your head, right?
Yeah, you got to keep it rolling. So we kind of found out, we got a little bit into the Safenet. We kind of heard a little bit. You like to, what you do to kind of keep it going and keep motivated, that self-care and kind of getting into that, and people, like I said, doesn't realize it doesn't have to be, like you said, go and get a massage or doing this and that. Sometimes it is taking a set in the morning, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, take a break. Go relax, think to yourself, and just kind of get ready for the day, or even if it's in the afternoon before you go to bed, kind of meditate on that day, see what happened. What can we do better tomorrow? Kind of be that positive impact on that, because that, like I said, this job could be wearing on you. It could, but that being said, there are some positives that come out of this. You see a lot of good things that, from the fire being burned, you see this gym, that does come out of this, and, really that's got to be some kind of a fire burner for you to keep on going too,
Oh, absolutely. Success stories, whenever we have clients that come out on the other side, you see just so much positivity there. And then they come back and they just talk about, a lot of times they'll say, you saved my life, you were such a positive impact, and you were here for me when nobody else was, because isolation is the game of the abuser. They want to isolate you. So a lot of times people may have family, but they've been isolated from their family. They may have friends, but they've been isolated, or friends and family may not fully understand what it is, and they grow weary and tired of trying to support that, because it takes, on average 7 times for a victim to leave their abuser.
7 times. Wow. You don't realize the impact that it really does have on somebody's mental state and keeping them in it, because they think, well, this is a normal thing. And so it takes 7 times on average for someone to really
leave and stay gone.
So you see that and you go, all right.
So sometimes we'll have somebody come and then they leave and then they come back, and when they come back, we welcome them back with open arms. We don't judge the fact that they went back. We just welcome them back, and we're here. Nope. It's we're glad you're back, and we're glad that you trust us enough to walk through this with you, but yeah. So just like I said, the success stories that we see, whenever my staff has a win, like I absolutely love to celebrate the wins whenever we have a win, because there are so many heavy things. And so I learned long ago, before I worked here, I worked at another nonprofit. And one of the things that I learned was we have to celebrate those small successes. You may think that it seems like nothing, but it is something, and so just those short wins, like maybe it's we've struggled to get this person's birth certificate. We've got a birth certificate now. So like, let's celebrate that, this person has really struggled to find a job, housing is a huge issue, finding affordable housing for people.
There's so many people moving into the area. It's hard to find things.
And so, we have a housing case manager, which, Cassie, she does that. And she
for a long time, she was like, she is kind of a big sister to me, so we picked on her, we messed with her, we did like the little brother stuff, because her little brother was like a best friend growing up. So
you were preparing her for her job.
I was preparing her for her job. So
you didn't even know that.
You're welcome, Cassie. You're welcome. So
well, she's wonderful. She's a wonderful human.
She is great.
And she, runs our shelter, and she does our housing program. And so, that's one of the things, she gets to walk with them whenever they first arrive on through to when they transition to a house, and so just seeing the victory of, okay, we finally found a place for them to go to, that is so big. Our community, that's another thing, is just seeing our community come together, because we couldn't do it without the team that we have here, but we also couldn't do it without the support of our community. We are governed by a board of directors. So my board is phenomenal. They volunteer so many hours. They're professionals. They have other jobs. And, they're constantly doing things to help us be better, and I always say, I came to Safenet to learn all the things I'm not capable of doing. And there's a lot of things that I'm not capable of doing. And so I have a board of professionals that I call on a very ongoing basis to ask questions, I know Susan, you sat down with Susan, her daughter, Roxanne, serves on my board, and so she's an attorney. So I'm like, hey, I got this legal question. What do you think? I'm like, please don't hang up on me. I'm calling again. I'm here again. So, and then not only that, we have volunteers, that volunteer their time. We couldn't do the things that we do without that, we have committees that work on events. So we have our walks that are coming up. We have community members that come and help contribute to the thought process behind those. So they help plan the events. In April, it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And so we have Walk a Mile in Their Shoes, you had mentioned earlier. But we have a committee that kind of gets behind that. We have our Festival of Trees, which is our largest fundraiser of the year. A lot of people absolutely love that, but it is our community that puts it on. It's we have a volunteer that chairs the event, and then our committee is just we couldn't do it without them for sure. They just spend so many hours finding auction items, things like that. The auctioneers, the rhymers, they volunteer their time for our event. Gosh, I can't even
there's
name
so many
all the people,
No. So, she's not leaving you out. There's so many that,
Yes.
There was a lot of people that are really just out there working hard to kind of
absolutely
help you guys keep going. You talked about, like the community coming back behind you guys and things like that. Like, what are ways that the community can kind of help here, help out, if they maybe not have the time to volunteer, things like that. Is there other ways, maybe donations, different things that they can do, or different events that they can go to kind of help the event, besides, like the trees and things like that? Is there other things that they can kind of get involved in to kind of help over here?
Absolutely. There are, I always say, there is some way for you to be connected here. And
even if it isn't money, you can volunteer.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that it has to be Safenet. There are so many great nonprofits. And so I always say, find what sets your soul on fire and go do more of that. So find what it is that you are passionate about and get connected there. I would love everybody to be connected at Safenet, but that's not the fit for everyone. And so I'm a firm believer of you're going to be more impactful in what you do if you have that passion behind it. So we have, you can volunteer on the board, you can volunteer on our event committees. We have people that volunteer their time as direct service hours. So they may come and help with court advocacy. They may come help with admin things. We have somebody that actually comes and volunteers their time and has built out these massive spreadsheets for us, things
that you don't think. That takes a long time. And it's something that it's very beneficial to have and not have to do.
Yes. So we just had a new one built for our budget, and so we're coming up on a new budget year. And so we're about to have to start working through that. And the fact that we have that updated to where we can plug things in and it works better, so somebody volunteered their time for that, we have people that volunteer at our resale stores. We have, people that do different drives, so we have donation drives schools have done it, church groups, different things like that.
Purses, things, stuff like that.
We have people that come and have Boy Scout, Cub Scout groups that have come and done work to our playground. Just recently, we have a couple of houses that we help provide space for our clients to go to, and we had a group of people go and help clean them up, so there's a lot of things that you can do there. If none of those things are up your alley, there's more. There's more. Be a part of one of our events, so we have our community awareness events, those help you to be a safer person, to know more. So whenever you do encounter it, because I'm not going to say, if you are going to encounter somebody that has experienced some sort of domestic violence or sexual assault. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience some type of intimate partner violence in their life. Oklahoma is ranked number 1 in the nation for domestic violence related instances, and we're ranked number 2 for women murdered by men. And so it's not a matter of if you will, it's when you will.
It's happening around us.
It is. And it's anybody. It's a community leader. It's somebody that you would least expect. And so it's just all sorts of people. It doesn't discriminate against socioeconomic status or gender or race. It's
everybody's kind of,
Yes.
it could be in anybody and anywhere. You never know what it's going to happen. And being, like you said, getting involved and understanding what to look for and see, you may be able to help somebody that's in that in a situation, or be able to, at least tell some officials, hey, this is what I'm noticing. Maybe check it out,
Yes. And, that's what the awareness piece is for, is to educate the community on, okay, so I see this and now I know what to call it and what to do and how to support them through it. And then just knowing about Safenet, coming and doing an awareness tour. We offer awareness tours ongoing every other month. So coming and taking part in that, so you have a little bit more knowledge, know how to connect somebody. So there's that. We have Wish List Wednesdays. So on Facebook, on Facebook, we put out immediate needs that we have. Also, you can call our main number and Jennifer can tell you what our immediate needs are if you're not a Facebook follower. And so one of the things that I saw when I came on at Safenet is we have so many generous people that want to give to us. And so we also have a lot of needs. And so how can we funnel that to where we can communicate those better? So we started our Wish List Wednesdays. And so every Wednesday we put out what our immediate needs are. We just had Easter. So, one of the things that was on there, it was Easter things, like stuff for Easter baskets. It may be shampoo, it may be conditioner, it may be bed sheets. It varies on what our needs are.
It is, So kind of get on there and follow along, because you guys can, so some people are going, I don't know how to help. I didn't know how to. Those are ways you can get out there. They're super easy. You don't really, like I said, if you don't have the time to volunteer, things like that, it's something you can do to kind of help your community and get through there, because it really does take all of us to keep it going.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have our 1991 Club, which is our monthly giving. And so if that's based off of the fact that Safenet, as it stands today, is two agencies had merged. And so in 1991, we became the entity that is now Safenet. And so we encourage people to give $19.91 per month, or more or less, whatever works for you. But a gift of $50 a month could buy laundry soap for our shelter. You think of rising costs in your own house. Well, we're providing that for up to 35 individuals at a time. So it can get very costly. You can, if you are a legislative type person, follow along with legislative issues, advocate on behalf of change. As it stands, current sentencing for strangulation is 1 to 3 years. And to give you an idea, sentencing for animal abuse is 10 years.
Wow.
So we're talking, and I have 2 animals. I love I have 2 dogs. I love animals, but we're saying that strangulation, which the odds of somebody that has strangled somebody, and committing a homicide drastically increases. Like, I think it's 750% more likely to murder their partner if they've strangled them, and they're giving a sentence of 1 to 3 years.
What?
Yeah. So advocate on behalf of change within our state.
Wow, that blows my mind.
Right now we've been doing a big push with agencies across the state for advocating for an increase in funding, because we are grossly underfunded as domestic violence agencies. It's not just Safenet. It's every agency in the state of Oklahoma. There's over 30 of us.
Wow.
And so
everybody's struggling to kind of keep.
Yeah. So just follow that. Contact your local DV agency. See what's on the legislative slate. It could be locally or federally. There's things on both sides that impact the work that we do, and how people are able to overcome, the things that they've experienced.
I think I hate to say it, I love Oklahoma. I live here. But I feel like mental health and things like that, and those kind of things are kind of pushed to a back burner, and they're focused on other things that seem more important. And I think when it comes down to it, supporting places like this, supporting other entities that do help people kind of get out of a rut or in a situation that they're at, need to be probably at the top of what's being funded instead of other things, or schools that need to be top funded. Those are the things that really need to be working with, because those are what are going to make our community better, because they're going to make the people better. And what people are happy, they're gonna get their jobs done. They're gonna show up to work. They're gonna do things. They're gonna feel better to be able to do those things. Because I've been in a situation where I did not feel like even getting up today, putting my shoes on, couldn't do it, and wasn't, like you said, until I took time to self-help myself and kind of get those things and found that resource that I'm not a rich man. I'm the only one that works in my family. Like, my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and that's her job, and that's. I don't want that job.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
She does so much,
yes.
and but just kind of, I think they need to focus on those things. And I think if we start to realize and start getting that, because again, we focus on his mental health, then maybe we will not have as many domestic issues. We might not we could start seeing those things kind of dissolve back a little bit, because people are able to get help. They're able to figure it out and see that it's not a nuisance. Because a lot of times it seems as a nuisance, you miss a day of work or this or that, people are like, well, you're fired. They don't understand the whole thing of how it goes. And so I think once we kind of figure out that, I think we will be in a better state of a world.
Absolutely. I mean, our systems are not set up for success right now. I mean, we're doing the best we can with what we have, and people are out there trying to do better. And I think, a lot of times what I tell people is the root problem is trauma, which can be traced back to domestic violence, sexual assault, things like that. Not saying that those are the only traumatic experiences somebody can have, but it's a lot of them.
Yeah, it is.
And so what that happens is you see the coexistence of substance abuse, and now we're bringing in substance abuse problems. You see incarceration go up and things like that. I have a friend that does a lot of prison ministry, and we were just discussing how much he sees domestic violence and sexual assault within the prison, and it's not necessarily within the prison, but the people that are incarcerated that have experienced it. And so if we could get to the basis problem is that unresolved trauma and work towards that, and then we're of course in this mental health crisis. You can't find therapists. We've been trying to hire a therapist for, I think, 9 months, and so it's, one of those, like, what's the most important thing, the chicken or the egg, what comes first? Hard, it's hard to really pinpoint that. But I think that if we could really work on that unresolved trauma, which is a huge part of we're not loving each other well, we're not treating each other right, then that would solve so many of those other, highest incarceration rates. I mean, I could just go on and on. I don't know how much time we have today, but
as much time as we want. We're the bosses here.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, I totally, I get where you go. I love that. It is something that is really kind of not getting addressed.
Yeah.
We're focused on this and this, and we kind of they say, well, we're doing this now, we're doing this. And you're like, but what is the issue of that? We can, like you said, we can raise the incarceration time, but then we're going to, they'll be incarcerated, and that's, it should happen. If you do that, you got to pay the consequences, and it's not a slap on a hand, But at the same time, we could kind of take that back a little bit and start helping these people and starting getting into that and making it okay to do and make it seem okay where it is, because it is acceptable, and people don't realize that because they've always been told, especially men, tough it out, walk it off, you're fine, you're going to be okay. And instead of doing anything about it, it can get bottled up and be released in different ways that maybe is not healthy.
Well, and, kind of to backtrack and make sure that I was clear on that, like on the women's side or the victim side of abuse is kind of where I was going with that. You see, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, a lot of that has been, a lot of the people that are incarcerated, the trauma that they have, the unresolved trauma is that abuse that they've encountered. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of places where there are some very violent people, and they do need to be locked away for a very long time.
Yeah.
And again, it's not something that's going to be easily, they're not going to change, you see a history and a pattern, there is a fatality review board, and what they do is if there is a domestic violence related homicide, they actually will go and research that homicide, and they follow that person back to a child and see how many times they've touched the system. And we didn't just wake up and murder our partner
Yeah,
today.
it
That's
was
not what happens.
lots of little things
Yes.
that kind of that had that trauma, that situation throughout their life, and is now kind of
A lot of times you're going to see that they've strangled their partner. They've, pulled weapons out and used weapons on their partner, things like that. And so that increases the odds of a homicide. And so, people like that, they do need to go to jail.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I don't want people. I'm not trying to advocate for one side or the other.
Oh no.
I'm a guy on this
Yeah.
side, so I see the guy's side too, because mental health is a very strong issue. It said with traumas and things like that, we've been told you just work past it and keep on going. If something, like I said, they've been through the system, they've touched this and that many things, and they just don't have that support to kind of get any help or anything, because one, they're told they're not supposed to. You just tough it out. You are a man and you can do it. And they also don't know where to go. They don't know how to have that, because it's too expensive, or things like that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's hard to find therapists
or just availability.
Availability to get it, and I go to Grand Lake, and my therapist is through Grand Lake, and I love it. I love my therapist. Like, I know I was supposed to have her as a therapist for a reason. It's just one of those perfect fits. And I didn't know what I was doing whenever I was in that situation. I just reached out and was like, okay, like, I'm in a spot, I need help. What can we do? And they're like, come in, let's talk to you. Let's start. And they went through that process with me and helped me get set up. And I was so nervous because, that being, just being raw and just giving yourself, telling a complete stranger a bunch of things.
Let me unpack all my problems in my life for you, and trauma.
I'm crazy with the stuff that comes out. I think I'm crazy sometimes, kind of thing. And you're like, but they never made you feel like that. And so I think if people kind of had that idea, it would be a lot easier, and we could start to have that, that more of a okayness with
I think it's breaking the stigma, normalizing it. I have a therapist. I love my therapist. I actually refer people to her all the time. I don't think she has any availability, but she's great. And there's so many people that have an array of different backgrounds, and it's really important to find somebody, if you can, that fits what your needs are. Whenever I was researching my therapist, I knew that I had some specific things that I needed to work on. I myself am a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. And so those are things that I knew that I needed to continue to dig into and work on myself. Especially being in this position, it can be something that can come up and trigger you. It happens. But a lot of people that get into this line of work, they do it because, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people do it because they've experienced something like that and they want to give back in that way. And so, I had that. And then my therapist has a background in trauma therapy. And so, and unfortunately, some of the things that you wouldn't think trigger you will trigger you. And so just learning how to cope with that and work through that. And so I am a huge proponent of people seeking the help that they need. It's just important for a man. You can still be a strong man and be sensitive. You can still be a strong man and cry. You can still be a strong man and see a therapist.
I'll tell you, I became the biggest crier after I had the first kid. I had my son, and like everything, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. Oh my gosh, that's so sad too. You're watching a movie and you're like, oh, I'm watching Toy Story 4, and I'm like at the end going, it's not sad. Why am I crying? Like, this is a cartoon. I tell people, like, I just became a crybaby after that, because I was just like, everything's about, because you get connected, things change.
Oh yeah,
I felt that, and it's and I think it's nice because my son sees that and he goes, well, you can cry.
Oh yeah. And that's, I'm a mother of a son. And so I also knew that, like, don't cry. And so, like, at first, whenever he would start crying, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's fine. Express your emotions. Right? It's good.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't want you to be sad. So that's why I don't want you to cry. Like, what do I do?
Exactly. You want to be like, stop crying. But then you're like, it's okay to cry, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you cry.
Yeah. And so, it is. It's one of those things. But I think that just breaking that stigma, I think destigmatizing those things, for everyone.
Yeah. Across the board, I think it just needs to be kind of brought up and just to the forefront, because we live in a day and age where I think we get connected with we have the internet. So we have a lot more things to worry about that we probably didn't even know we needed to worry about. And and there are probably things we don't need to worry about, but we do because we see things. So we get anxious. We see, oh, somebody's kid ate a battery and now I cannot have batteries around my house. We get paranoid, we get those things. And so that anxiety is different than it used to be. And the way things were, bullying and things like that is so much easier than social media and things like that. So we do get to that point. I think it's now at a time where we absolutely need it.
Yeah, it's that information overload. Yeah. We now have access to more information than we ever have in the history of information. We know what's going on all around the world. People are constantly like, oh, the world's getting bad. The world has always been bad. Yeah, it's just now we know about it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going on in little town in Germany before.
No.
Everybody has cell phones and we can see it on TikTok or YouTube, things like that. So we know what's going on.
Yeah. You maybe saw something in the newspaper or on the local news, but it wasn't like it is now, and I don't watch the news. I say, I see enough bad. I don't need anything added to it. I'm good. I've actually had some of my team, they laugh whenever the weather's rolling in. They're like, are we going to come to work tomorrow? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, but you don't watch the news. I will tomorrow.
I will just to make sure to see where we're at.
Yes.
I'm still one of those paranoid people that I'm like, I have to watch the news because I need to know what's going on in the world. Because I'm like, even though it didn't seem like I was prepared today, half that stuff I don't even need. And of course, I brought it with
I get it.
I'm like, I'm ready to go. I got to be prepared. People used to ask me, were you a Boy Scout? And I was like, no, I wasn't. But my grandpa always taught me, like, be prepared for what, if you got it, if you're going to do something, be ready to get it done and have what you need. So set up and ready to roll. And that's how I've always made that. When I did pest control, my van, my trucks were always loaded to the brim. They're like, why do you need all that stuff? I'm like, because then I'm not going to have to come back.
Because I might need it. I don't know.
So, can you do this? And I can go, yep. And I can get it done right then and there. I don't have to come back. And I don't want to drive back and forth. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't like doing things over and over again.
Yeah, that's a big struggle for me. I'm going on a backpack trip, actually, for my 40th birthday is coming up. So myself and my sisters were going on this backpack trip. And when you're on a backpack trip, you only put the items that you need.
Exactly.
And you have to carry that. And so, I'm going to hike for 37 miles and I'm going to be gone for 3 days. So how do I pick what I need as a big preparer? Yeah.
I don't know. What if I do this and I want to need that? Or what if this breaks and then I need this one to replace this one?
Yeah. And then your pack is 70 pounds and I can't carry a 70-pound pack. I don't know if you've seen me, but I'm really short.
You're not a big person. You're a small person.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm a big person, so everybody's small to me. I'm 6'5", so I walk into places and I'm like, everybody's just short to me. So
everybody is tall to me because I'm 5'2".
Yeah, my wife, she comes up to here on me, and so that's how it is.
Yeah.
If somebody's taller than me, I really feel short. They are big.
Yeah, that's a big old human.
They're like 6'8", 6'7", 7 foot. You're like towering over me. That's a big person.
Yeah.
And that makes me nervous because I don't usually feel very small.
I could see that. See that.
But so you like to go, you said you're going hiking and things like that. We had talked a little bit. We kind of have something coming up here where you guys are going to be climbing with a group of people, right? We're
going to make a big announcement at our walks on an upcoming event.
Gotta wait. So something big that's going to be coming. I'm actually going to be working with you to kind of help in this situation to kind of help with what's going on.
The promotion
of it and trying to kind of get what's going on out there. So that'll be coming up. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to talk about it yet. So.
Oh, okay.
So that's coming up, but we've got, then we have a walk a mile in their shoes coming up in Pryor and in Clare.
Yes. So this weekend, April 6th on Saturday, we're going to be doing Walk a Mile in Their Shoes in Pryor. That'll kick off at registration starts at 9:45, and that's where we'll make that big announcement. And then in Claremore, our walk is April 20th. Registration will be at 9:45. And again,
I have a team.
Yay!
If you want to join my team, you guys can go on there. I'll be out there walking. So come join our team. And if you don't want to join the team, help us raise some money.
Yeah, donate.
Just donate to it. Just a little bit. It doesn't matter. It all adds up.
Yes.
You got $10 extra.
Absolutely.
You know, that it helps add it up. It's like it takes a community.
Absolutely. So we are going to be doing that. The Pryor Walk will meet at the courthouse in Pryor. Okay. The Claremore Walk will be at Lynn Riggs, a.k.a. Gazebo Park outside of the Mo, Claremore Museum of History. And so, yeah. And then, like I said, we'll have that big announcement. We got some big, exciting things happening. And the people that are involved in this are just so pumped up. It's so fun. I love this. So awesome. I love that we're getting to do this. And I'm absolutely excited that we're going to get to work with you some more on this.
I'm so excited. When I started this podcast, that's all I wanted to do was just get out there and start helping people and get in the community and start just get it out there and put it in front of people's faces. Because I'm one of those people that it wasn't put in front of my face and I don't see what's going on. So I had a lot to complain about because I didn't know what was going on, right? And so I was like, well, maybe if people actually know what's going on, maybe that complaining and see what's actually happening, that there are working behind the scenes. It may not seem like it.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's a lot going on. These people are volunteering time. They're not getting paid for it. There's a lot of people that's happening. And we just get a lot of negativity. And I was one of those people. I'm not going to lie. I was just, man, everything's going this and that. People, they need to do this and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what's going on. And once I start getting the full backstory, I go, that makes sense. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. I always say that it, whenever I would see, I can't do Claremore complaints either. Like I cannot be a part of that. I don't want to know. I don't, no. And so, anyways, years ago, before I had come on at Safenet, I was active in a lot of different groups, a lot of boards, a lot of committees, and it was always like the same 10 people showing up to help with everything. And so then you would see all these people complaining and it's like, well, what have you done to help change that? So I don't think that it's not happening. It's that you've got 10 people that are burnt out that have been working so hard to really push for that change.
And when they're getting a lot of negativity feedback for all the positive work they are doing, it's hard to keep it going.
Yes.
Keep those people motivated and to keep them coming back to keep doing those things.
And absolutely, it's volunteers too, like people that are volunteering their time that work full-time jobs outside of that. A very perfect example. I don't know how much you know about the Will Rogers Park, but several years ago, Crystal Campbell was a mom that was like, I don't have a good park for my kids to go to. So she volunteered her time, wrote grants, built up that amazing park over there, that took a lot. Money just doesn't drop down out of the sky and say, okay, let's build a park, And so that was just somebody that saw a need and filled that void, and there's
can do that.
Oh yeah. And there's so many people in Claremore that do that, but we could do a lot more if more people wanted to do that.
Yeah. It takes help because, like I said, those same 10 people are doing the same thing and they're coming and volunteering and they're continuously doing it and they're not getting paid for it. They're getting that negative return. Come out there and help because that's what's going to make it even better. It's going to make it more fun. It's going to make our community more fun. And once we all start to build together and kind of, work together, it will make it more enjoyable. And those things, those negativities, those bad things will start to go away. You won't start thinking about those. You're going to think about the good that things are doing. And once you get out there, put your hands on it and do what they're doing, feel that, or even see what they're doing, you go, oh man, that is a lot of work. Because I don't think people realize, the amount of work that goes even just, here or to being a city council member, the mayor.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's not a full-time job.
No. And I think they get a little stipend. So
they get a little bit.
Yeah. My mentor is Herb McSpadden. Yeah. He's on the city council. And so, I think that, he puts a lot of time into it.
A lot of time.
But maybe they get a very, very small stipend and a gym membership at the rec center, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but
it's not so they're working hard and they just get bombarded.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't understand what's going on. We don't understand what's happening back behind there. So if we can kind of get out there and let people see that, because we can complain about the utility prices all day long. But if we don't understand what's happening and how that's working and how that benefits our community, we don't know.
And, from what I've seen and heard, John is our city manager is very open to feedback and hearing from people and having conversations with people and sharing with you, this is why,
And I think that's kind of what's great about what we have now. Our city council members, I feel like the board, the mayor, everybody has the they're trying to do something that's good for the community, and not just for like
Absolutely.
right now. They're trying to fix things that are planned out, that are going to be not in our generation, but our kids' generations. That's going to be growing, because we are going to be growing as a community. I believe 100% things are going to be booming here pretty quick. We've got a lot of stuff coming up around us, building up around us, and we're kind of that middle way. People are going to be flying into Tulsa to go to this new theme park and things like that. We're going to have a lot of stuff that's going to be coming around here. So people traveling down 66, just to travel down 66, it goes right through the middle of our city, right past our main street. Like, there's going to be a lot of activity. And I think if we can all start to build together and start building that foundation now, we're not going to be struggling when we start getting more coming in.
And some of that is digging out of a hole that has been created by somebody that's not there now, and so I don't, and I can't.
I don't get negative on the show. I try to be positive, but there's things in the past that I've seen and even been in part of the city council meetings and things. As I've said.
And I can't speak to any of that, but I do know that sometimes there is that digging out of that hole, but we're still digging out of that hole and looking towards the future, and there's a lot of forward movement in Claremore for sure.
I think that right now it is the time that we're going up. And if people can start to see that and go, oh yeah, we are going up. Let's get into this. Let's ride this wave up with everybody. It's just going to benefit everyone. The community, every business, it's going to benefit everybody. And that's why I kind of want everybody to just kind of work together. And it doesn't matter if you have the same type of business. There's plenty of work to go around for everybody. We can all work together. It's still, just because you do this and I do this, we're both electricians, doesn't mean that we have to hate each other and try to fight.
No.
Let's work together.
We're better together.
If I don't have the time to do it, I know that you can do it and you're going to do a good job. So I can suggest that to somebody. Like, hey, we are just so swamped right now. I think you should call so-and-so. They do great. They're local. That works. I used to do that when I had my pest control company. If I was I'm too busy. Like, I just have no room. Call so-and-so.
Yeah.
They'll do a great job. I trust them. I know them. They've been around for years. They have the knowledge. They'll take care of you like I would. You have those things. And I think that's the joy about being where we are. We do have those people that are great at all these things, and we can all work together and pull all those influences and all the knowledge from all these people and make one big conglomerate, just giant superpower that you can't beat.
Yeah, and absolutely.
That, Claremore could be the community around here that people, because we see Broken Arrow, things like that, and we're going, oh man, look what they're doing. I think Claremore could be that community where people go, look what they're doing.
And we're unique.
Yes.
Our community, there's not a community around here that offers the same things that we offer. Yeah. So we have a lovely, vibrant downtown, beautiful little space downtown with lots of really neat places and opportunities for other things as well. We have the lake. Owasso, Broken Arrow, they don't have a lake.
They don't have what we have.
Yeah, we have mountain bike trails that are really awesome, hike trails. Whenever I was out there last weekend, there was somebody trail running, and people come from all over to utilize that. We have the university here. Again, we're very unique, and I think that we're one of the best around, for sure.
I do too. 100%. I don't like going to Tulsa. I don't like going out. Like, if it's not like Owasso, like if I'm not in Rogers County, like I get anxious to going out because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's people are like, I feel comfortable here. Like I can go to Walmart in my sweats and just be me. Like I go anywhere else, I'm like got my head on a swivel. I'm trying to watch my back. Here, we don't have to, it's pretty relaxed. We can. I feel safe with my kids going to school.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean. There's other towns around here that I just can't say that I would feel safe for them going to, And so, we got it good.
Yeah, absolutely. I spend a lot of time in Claremore. I also spend a lot of time in Mays County. My dad has a property out there, so I go out there a lot. I love both of those places for sure.
Literally right there.
Yeah,
it kind of counts. I mean, Pryor is like literally just like kind of right on the other side of Mays County, so they're kind of like just like a cousin. So we can appreciate Pryor too. Like there are some great things in Pryor, and there's some great people in Pryor.
Oh gosh, and they've got a lot of new things that are up and coming that are really awesome too.
Blowing up too. Yes. That's what I say. All these communities around here right now, this step coming up is going to be a huge growth. Pryor, Adair, Veneta, Claremore, Chelsea, these places are going to grow. And
one of the fun things is if you get involved in those things in the beginning, you can see that growth and you can be part of that positive change, and change is hard. I get it. I get how it can be very hard, but if I often say, I guess I have a lot of, Jodyisms. I had a friend that called it that. But if we're not changing, then we're just going to grow stagnant, grow irrelevant. Yep. And eventually, we're not going to be relevant. So we're just going to die, And so it's something that you're not the same person you were last year. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. Yeah. Like your life is constantly changing. And so you have to figure out what you want to get involved in and how you can help be that positive change and speak into that. Yeah. And so I think that that's huge. And again, I get it. It is hard for change. I do get that.
It's hard for change in my own life.
Oh, yes.
I gotta stop doing this. I'm
real comfortable with this.
I like eating my sweets before bed,
Absolutely.
I'll always not do that. It's like the worst time to do it. But
I love ice cream for dinner, but if I do it every night.
Right? The downfalls of being an adult. You've got to make yourself do things.
Yeah. And so.
Yeah, I get where you go with that. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So we talked about some of this stuff. In Claremore, we're used to trains. We have trains. So we get stopped by lots of trains. There's a lot of times you can go across town and go back across town and get stopped by a train both times. Mm-hmm. I made it across town back and forth and didn't get stopped here.
Wow.
I knew it was going to happen. I was like, I'm going to get stopped by a train. I know it. It'll take me 10 minutes.
You better go get that lottery ticket. I think it's $1 billion is what I heard on the radio.
Is it getting that high?
Yeah, Wednesday. You didn't get stopped by a train. You better get that lottery ticket.
Get that lottery ticket on the way home. I only buy lottery tickets like when it gets up there anyway, so I didn't even realize it. See, how much do I really pay attention to the World Cup? I say I watch the news. I don't even know what the lottery. Yeah. But we get stopped by trains. Mm-hmm. And, we kind of get up there like, oh gosh, here we go. We got to get stopped by a train. But I kind of like to take it. Like I said, we like to dance in the car. Mm-hmm. We like to take that time, kind of do our thing. Maybe talk to the person you're sitting next to. So we'll call this little next one the train track crossing. We're going to get stopped by the train. I'm going to shoot some questions at you. Just this or that. Easy ones, not like nothing crazy.
This or that. Okay.
It'll be this or that. And you just kind of boom, boom, boom. Give me those answers. Even if you have a little bit more to fill in, that's great. Because usually we get sidetracked anyways. Every single time we go through this. It's supposed to be like the speedy thing. And I'm like, but I'm ADHD. And you say something, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way. So see, I already did it. Anyways, so we're going to go. Ready? Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Good answer. Mountain or beaches?
Both.
Both. I mean, yeah.
I
used to be always mountains, but then, like, as I've gotten older, I've kind of appreciated the beach and the ocean and the sound. I still know I'm terrified of the ocean. Mm-hmm. There's too much out there. I don't know.
There's a lot happening out there.
But on the beach, I'm good.
You don't ever see a upset person at the beach. I love to people watch families laughing and loving the water. And I don't get in the water either, really. Yeah. But I love to sit there and just dig my toes in the sand and watch the waves.
Yeah. I like the little shallow areas where it goes that it kind of buries my feet. Yeah.
And mountains are they're phenomenal.
The air just tastes better.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Anyways.
Anywhere but here.
Let's go. Hey, I'll tell you, you go over to like some of these areas, you kind of forget you're in Oklahoma. You start driving through like different trees. You're like, oh, yeah.
I like to adventure.
Yes, there's so much to see. Mm-hmm. Burger or pizza?
Pizza.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, gosh.
I know that one's a tough one.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm not sure.
You can think about that one. Maybe I'll come to you later.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Circle back to me.
Think already. Coffee or tea?
I love coffee. I try not to drink it a lot, though.
Yeah, I drink too much.
Yeah, I don't sleep well if I drink coffee. So
I've started changing. I started this other. It's coffee, but it's got this mushroom. It's got mushrooms in it too and stuff, and collagen.
Yes, I've been drinking mushroom coffee.
It's so I've had the other stuff, and I was like, it didn't really taste like coffee. And I got this new stuff. It's called Everyday Dose, and they're not a sponsor or anything. So but anyways, if you guys want to, you can. I'll take some free coffee, but it is collagen in it, and it's got.
I might have to.
It's really good. It actually tastes like coffee.
Yeah.
Because it does have coffee in it, too. A little bit.
The one that I've been getting does not, at first I thought it tasted like dirt water. So, I mean, I've grown accustomed to it because I've been drinking it for a couple of months, but.
Yeah, this stuff is actually really good. I'm like, okay, I can do this.
It's stalking me on Facebook. So I might have to actually do that. Yeah, I've seen it.
It's worth it. I got on the subscription. I was like, once I got it and I tasted it, I was like, okay, keep sending it to me. I like that. My stomach doesn't hurt after, because your stomach gets, oh gosh, after you drink a cup of coffee. No, it doesn't do any of that. It makes you feel a little, gives you that energy, but it's not a like,
yeah,
I gotta go kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, see, I told you, I just go off on these paths.
So I have a lot of people that claim that I have a lot of energy. I don't know what they're talking about, but they say I got a lot of energy. So, they might appreciate me not having like a full dose of caffeine.
Yeah, they're like, don't give her that full cup of coffee. Yeah. Give her something else.
Yeah.
There you go. That'll work for you.
I did drive a scooter down the hall today.
Gotta have fun while you're working. Yeah. Just say it. Gotta have fun. All right. And what was your favorite superhero growing up?
Oh.
Favorite cartoon, superhero, something like that.
Superhero. You're coming with these really hard questions.
See, I would.
Superhero. I don't know.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Good color. Good color.
I'm thinking a superhero.
Okay, so what was our favorite childhood cartoon? There we go. We'll go for that one. Still don't know. Did you watch cartoons as a kid?
I did. I remember I really liked the Snorks, but I don't remember what it was about. Fraggle Rock was pretty cool too.
Fraggle Rock is a classic.
I know that dude drove a rutabaga. Like, come on now.
That's pretty. It was weird. Don't get me wrong. Like, I remember my mom showing me Fraggle Rock, and I was like, "What is this?" As a kid, but at the same time, I met as a kid going, "What is this?" This is kind of weird. This is crazy. All over the place. We had weird stuff back in the 80s, huh? All right. So this question has not been hitting very hard, and I've asked it. Multiple people don't know it, I guess, and I'm still going to try it because someday somebody's going to know the answer, and they're going to go with me. So we're going to see if you're that person, because I'm not going to stop until I find that person that knows it, that gets it.
Okay.
On Friends, was Ross and Rachel on a break?
I didn't watch Friends.
See, I am just blown away by this, that people have not watched Friends. Like, it absolutely blows my mind. I guess I'm just I'm a TV show nut. I love it.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
Man,
I'm busy in the woods. I don't know. I'm lost in the woods, going on a quick 5-mile hike.
Quick 5-mile hike instead of watching Friends. What are you talking about? I got time, Friends. I'm doing a quick 5-mile hike. That's totally true. That makes sense now. I'm not doing 5-mile hikes. A quick 5-mile hike anyways. It might take me, I'll see you tomorrow. Love it. No, so I always thought hey, I'm normal anyways. And then I found out last year I'm not normal.
Nobody's normal.
You're not normal. You're ADHD. My brain doesn't leak like everybody else's. That's kind of thing. So I'm just it still blows my mind that people have friends. I don't know.
I always say that we're all a little weird. You just have to find the people that like your weird. Your same weird, or maybe different weird, but your weird meshes, I guess. I don't know.
Kind of coexist together. You're I need a little bit more weird here, and you kind of work out. Yeah.
Yeah, because if anybody really knows me, they're like, she is goofy. That girl's goofy.
It's so much better. I mean, I probably laugh more on this episode than we have on anything. I love it. That's awesome. The energy. Yeah, I can see where people say you do got a lot of energy. But that's okay, because I can come right there with you.
Yeah. My mentor said one time, she's going to get up at 4:00 in the morning and she will not stop until her head hits the pillow. And I'm like, you might be right about that. Because if I do stop, then I'm usually passed out. I fall asleep.
That's when the head hits the pillow, is whenever I do stop. I can't stop or I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally get it. Oh, I love it. Awesome. Well, that's train track crossing, guys. So we're going to get back into it. And so let's talk about so where do we kind of where do you want to see where things go? Where are the kind of plans for the next few years? Kind of an idea, of how long have you been here so far with them?
So I started as the executive director at Safenet in December of 2020 because that was a really great time to take on leadership in a nonprofit. I don't know if anybody knows what happened in 2020, but it was a mess. It was a good time. It was a good time. So we have, as an agency, gone through a lot of change, a lot of transition, and I foresee us continuing to do what we can to be better. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we're ever going to reach the spot where we've made it at Safenet.
Do we ever really kind of make it? You're always still there.
I mean, I keep thinking that there's going to be a spot where I don't feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose all the time.
That would be nice.
I'm not sure when that happens, but I'm constantly learning, which will probably keep me here for a very long time because I won't get bored.
Yeah. That sounds like it. Yeah.
And so, we kind of have a lot of big stuff coming up. I think I talked a little bit about, we're going to announce this new initiative that we're doing this, actually this month we'll announce it. Super excited about that. It's a fundraising initiative. We're anticipating a very large cut to our largest grant funding source, a 40% cut. And so we're, really scrambling to figure out how we can make up that cut. One of the things that we're looking at, so we're certified through the Attorney General's office. So we go through a certification to be a state certified domestic violence sexual assault agency. We are in the process to be certified for human trafficking as well.
Oh, wow.
So we've turned in the application and things like that, sending some people to some trainings to learn more about human trafficking. It's something that we see in our client base. People don't realize that they're being trafficked. A lot of people think of trafficking as, I got snatched up at the Quick Trip or fill in the Walmart, the van followed me at Walmart. That's not really how it typically happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen that way, but that's not a normal thing.
That's not the majority of it.
Yeah. We have a lot of needs. There's still a lot of ways that we can continue to serve our clients better. It would be great for us to have transitional housing. We need more permanent space in our Mays County office. Just continuing to grow relationships and partnerships out in the community. Since I've come on, we've formalized some partners that we didn't have before. So we partner with Rogers County Youth Services, and they provide counseling services to our kiddos. Awesome. Again, we were facing a funding cut, and so they were able to step in and help. And they're already experts in child therapy. And so they went through the process to learn more about domestic violence, sexual assault, things like that to better serve our clients. Safenet, there's a lot there, I guess my personal life, I would like to continue to adventure as much as I can. I love to get out and experience new things. I love the energy of a city, but I love the calm and the serenity of a nice trip on the river or out in the woods somewhere. Funny thing is I cannot tell you where north is. I always say it's up. So I am a hiker and I love to hike, but I don't know what way north is.
It's really hiking if you know where you're going. Come on, you just got to explore. I just follow the trail and think that's where it's going.
I recently was following the trail but wasn't paying attention and ended up in somebody's campsite, and that's a story for a whole nother time. But
I was not ready for that one.
So, I would say that,
Yeah. So we live here in Rogers County, and, you like to adventure. What are some of your favorite landmarks, things, we mentioned you like the biking trails and things like that. And, what are some things about Rogers County, the places, things like that you see that kind of are your favorite, that kind of stand out, that make you love live? You're that's why I live here. I love these things. I know it's kind of a hard question, but
it's not a thing. It's the people.
It's the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if you know about Enneagrams. I'm a 7. I'm a people person, extroverted, the most extroverted person you could possibly meet. I make friends with, I would talk to the wall if it would talk back. I might talk to the wall sometimes. I don't know.
Myself.
So I think, I just love the people here, the community that surrounds us here. And it's not the place, it's the people.
People make the place.
Yes. And as I mentioned, a lot of really great things that make us unique as well, but yeah, I think
it really kind of goes back to the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Love it. So, we talked about some different ways for people to get involved and kind of things like that. So how would they be able to start to get involved? Where can they go to kind of get that information to kind of get in
Mm-hmm.
to the zone? Because, some people may like, yeah, I want to do that. I don't really know. Like, do they come up here? Do they call you guys? Is there a
Mm-hmm.
website they go? What kind of things, different things?
Absolutely. So they could go to our website, safenetservices.org.
Mm-hmm.
They could call up here, call our main number, 918-341-1424, or they could walk in and talk to Jennifer. She is our volunteer coordinator. So she would, excuse me.
Oh, no.
Give you an application to fill out and kind of plug you in what's best suited for you. As I mentioned, we have our awareness tours. And so like the purpose of our awareness tours is just for people to gain more awareness about Safenet, one, as a whole, what we do, but also how they could get involved.
Yeah.
Like we talked about some of those things, but we sit down and have a conversation. We share our services through survivor stories. And so we actually kind of take you through what it was like for our clients coming here and how, what they came from, how it impacted them and what services they utilized. And so, yeah.
Kind of get that know-how so they can, if you don't know, come up here, call, like you said, get involved, but also come do that. Come listen, come see how, like you said, kind of get a little bit of experience of what they may have done, hear that story and kind of go, oh, yeah. And then you can find that, like you said, they can kind of explain a little bit more, like this is what we would do here, this is what we do here. That may be something that's like, yeah, that's what I like to do. I'm good at that.
Absolutely.
And plug you right into it.
Absolutely.
So super easy. You just got to pick up a phone or get on your feet.
Yeah. And basically, you could also follow us on Facebook. We put a lot of things out on Facebook.
Share things on Facebook.
Oh, absolutely.
Share those fundraiser things, the more people share, the more people see, there's a chance to help more people. So even just a little, it takes 1 second. You hit share.
Yeah,
done. Absolutely. Easy peasy. You can help that way. That's awesome. So super, like, guys, if you want to get involved, it's really easy to get involved.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, everybody I've met here, and even before, everybody's nice. I mean, walk out the door, it's welcoming. It's it's not nervous. It's not scary. I mean, I can understand why it might be scary for some situations, but if you're coming in here to volunteer and want to help, do things like, it's not scary. They're welcoming. It's going to come right in the door. It's pretty. It's Jennifer
is our administrative assistant. She's also our volunteer coordinator, and she is a lovely human.
You're like, come on. You can't.
Yeah.
Like,
I would sign up to volunteer with her.
You're working in this kind of environment. You got to be good people, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just got to have that heart and good, amazing people.
It's like a pre-K teacher. None of them are bad people.
Right. It can't be. You cannot be. If you can put up with that.
Yeah. You hang out with 4-year-olds all day long.
Another thing, not for me. There's a lot of things that I'm just not good at. I couldn't do. I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah.
I couldn't be a doctor. I can do blood.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of things. Like even your job, that's probably something like I just absorb things, it would weigh so much on me. So like I think that's probably what I think people say you probably are energetic because I can see it, that joy, and you have a good energy about you. That's probably why you're so good at what you do, because you do have that. I feel like just from us talking and just from us texting and stuff, like I can even feel it through that. Like, as an ADHD person, you kind of feel people, There's sometimes people are like, oh, he's so awesome, he's great. And then you meet him, you're like, are you guys sure this is the same person that you were talking about? Because I feel a really weird vibe, I kind of things like, just making me feel uncomfortable. They're like, what? He's the coolest guy in the world. He's awesome. I'm like, okay. But so usually, I get this, and you can kind of feel that authenticity from somebody, and you really do put that off. And
I appreciate that.
I love that. I see that like in all the guests that I've had, you can really hear the authenticity in their voices. You can see it in their faces. You can see it in their eyes that what they're doing, they love it. And they're putting everything into it, and they're just going full force. And I can see that in you. And I think there's a lot of people out there that may not know what you do, what you're doing over here, and maybe, not have an idea, and they're going to see this and go, oh, wow, she is. I mean, not only you, but your team are out here killing it, doing this amazing thing, helping people in such a hard situation that they look at, like you said, George drowning. They're constantly getting pushed over. There's no way to get out of this rut. I'm stuck here forever. But you guys give them that safe place. You guys work hard, not only with them, but above, trying to get all that support to keep them going. Like, that is a lot. And so I want to tell you, thank you so much for everything that you take, you to your team for what you do, because it is huge. Like I said, a lot of places don't have things like this. A lot of communities don't have places like this.
Oh, absolutely.
And for us to have it, prior in Mays County and in Rogers County right here, like, it is a big deal. Oh, yeah. So, everybody out there that's listening, it may be 5 people listening, but if there's 5 people listening, guys, get involved. If, like I said, now if it's not anything, just share stuff on Facebook, social media, talk to your friends about what's going on. Say, hey, you guys hear this is going on? Support the teams that are coming up that are going to be doing the walks and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You can't donate money, because I understand times are hard. Money is, it's hard to come by some days, Share that stuff out there. Do those things. There's so much things you can do, so many things that you can do that can really get that involvement and output and kind of help. You don't have to be the person in front of the camera. You don't have to be the person in front of you don't have to be the executive director. You don't have to be that. You can be you back there and do your part. And that every little piece helps. Like you said,
absolutely.
Every penny helps. Everything comes in. And I'm excited about what's going forward, what's coming up. Talking to you, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff. We're going to get to be hanging out a lot more, which I'm excited about, because after this, like, hey, I'm like, man, I'm making a whole bunch of new friends, and I love it. And it's awesome. There's a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of stuff with our community coming up. There's a lot of stuff with Safenet coming up. So, like, keep in the zone, keep paying attention. Don't get complacent about it, because if we're coming up on summer, there's going to be a lot going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I want to say thank you so much for giving me time, for letting me come over here and do this with you and do that, because it is a big deal. This is, it means the world to me. Not only am I trying to get it, it helps me. It helps me with, it's a little bit therapeutic. It's kind of, you were talking about earlier how, self-care. This is kind of my self-care.
There you go.
I'm lucky enough. I try to say this every episode, that I have an amazing wife that lets me, stays with the kids and lets me go off and play around with a bunch of electronics and talk to people, which I'm good. She knows if I'm going to talk to people, it's not going to be 20 minutes. It's because that's what happens.
We're going to be talking for a little bit.
You're like me. I can sit. We just like to talk to people. I like to hear things. I like to get the information, just know things. It's cool, because it's stuff I didn't know. And
absolutely.
So she gives me that support, and I couldn't do it without her. Yeah. She's not on the episode. She's not in there editing, but she is a huge part of this.
Well, kudos to her.
She gives me that. So I always want to try to give her that. Yeah. Give her that one, because she does do a lot. And, sometimes it may not seem like I appreciate it, but I get to do these things, and this is my self-care, and it lets me do those things. And she kind of understands that. So I'm lucky to have that. So thank you for doing this with me. And we got a lot more coming up. They're going to be seeing a lot more of us together on here. We're going to be on social media. There's going to be awesome stuff.
Yeah. And we're so thankful for you for doing this. This is huge to help create that awareness for not only Safenet, but for the upcoming top secret things that are coming.
Like I told you before, I just want to be out here and putting the people that are, I'm just a guy that knows how to turn on a camera and edit a few videos. That's what I know how to do. And so that's, my way of kind of putting it out there and doing that, because that's what I could do. I may not be the best video editor or the sound, all that stuff, but we can do it and we get it going. And that's my way of kind of contributing. And you guys, the people that are putting that shine, that are shining for it, I just want to put you guys out there to show, like, this is what we have here, guys. Let's stop complaining. Let's just start working together and go out there and, build each other up.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's great people here that you do not get that in, like, other places. Like, I don't think people realize that. I've been to other places. I've moved away. I've come home. I've been all over, and you don't get this.
Yeah. One of the things, I lived in Germany for a time, and when I lived there, my friends were like, did you know that person? And I'm like, no. And they're like, everybody you talk to, it's like you know them. I'm like, that's just how we do it in Oklahoma. I don't know what you're talking about. You're from New York. You guys are hateful. I'm just kidding.
When I was in New York City, I held the door open for somebody, and the lady stopped and goes, do you work here? And I said, no. She goes, why are you holding the door? And I was like, I don't know, just being nice. And she was like, okay. And she just walked past me. That was it. Like, it was the most awkward door holding experience in the world.
She would say, Jody, like, you ask somebody how their day is and you really want to know how their day is. She's like, people don't do that where I'm from.
They don't even ask because they're afraid they're going to get an answer.
Yeah, we don't want to know how your day is. We don't care.
My son, he'll be like, did you know them, Dad? Because I'll be like, I'm really bad with names. I'm terrible. So I kind of got into this routine where I'm like, hey, buddy, what's up, man? How you doing, bud? So everybody's like my pal, buddy, things like that. What's up, bro? He's like, did you know them? And I'm like, no. And he's like, why'd you call him pal? Or why'd you do that? I'm like, just what I say, Bubba. I just talk to people like they're my friends.
Yeah.
I want people to feel comfortable. Yeah. I even do that when I do sales on the phone. I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? How you doing? Like, if I sound like a robot, nobody wants that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in person, in life. And I will tell you, like, I've had people, like you said, those little conversations with people that like, sometimes they needed that. Mm-hmm. They need that little. I've had people, like, one time I was walking out of Walmart, smiled at a lady. Mm-hmm. She stopped, turned around and goes, man, I needed that. That's such a great smile. You lifted my spirits. I was like, well, all right, lifted my spirits up too, because we both, like, we needed that smile to each other. It was just kind of one of those weird little things. And just being that little bit of a joy and being that positive impact really does go a long way. Just the little things,
It does.
One time I was in Florida and we were on vacation. I walked into the gas station, told the lady, I said, she's next, just doing a thing. And she was like, I was like, how are you doing today? She's like, I'm all right. How are you? And I was like, I'm in Florida. I can't be that bad, like, come on. And she was like, I'm like, you live here, so you're kind of used to it. I said, but come on. I mean, you guys live in a gorgeous place. It's sunny outside. Day's going good. And she was like, But when I walked off, I heard her go, next, come on up. It was a totally different change in the voice.
Oh, yeah.
It was just that little bit of a second. Sometimes
I think it's just we're so busy and so fast paced, and that's just in America as a whole. America, people want to be seen. Everybody wants to be seen.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that whenever you can slow down long enough to see somebody and really, show them that you see that they're a real person and that you value them as a person, then that's huge,
Even a small little thing like, thanks a lot today. Have a great day. That really does, and mean it. Because I said, you can hear that authenticity in people and you can see it. Some may not be able to see it, but a lot of people can.
Absolutely.
And it goes a long ways. So, like, again, thank you so much for everything that you guys do here. Thank you to your team. Thank you to your crew. Like, I'm so excited to be able to do more work with all you guys. It's going to be so much fun. Again, guys, go follow them on Facebook, Safenet. All the links will be on here at the bottom of the podcast, and the comments on everything. You'll be able to click on it, go to it, go follow the pages, keep up with them. You want to volunteer? Come up here, do something. You guys can do it. If you want to get, help, share, do those things, come on out and just start being a part of the community. And if it's not here, find somewhere like I said, find somewhere that got that passion for you that you just want to go do. Go find that in the community and go do that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many places, of course, I would love for everybody to support Safenet in some manner. But if it's not Safenet, find what it is that you want to support. There are so many other great nonprofits.
And if it's not this, it's springtime. We're going to be doing a lot of spring cleaning. We've got Second Impressions over there. Go over there and drop that stuff off. If you need, I got to get rid of this stuff. We don't want to go big to the offense to the big box company, Goodwill, things like that. Let's go to the smaller places that we got here that are supporting us here.
Yes.
And the people here. So take them over there. And there's a couple places there. I'll make sure you got Second Impressions and you got Thrift Harbor right around the corner. So you guys got all that right there.
And Dirk at Thrift Harbor,
right there.
Dirk, they do great work too. At Hope Harbor.
Oh yeah. So there's so much stuff out there. Get involved, follow along, listen to the podcast, share it to people. Because there's a lot of information in here that people could, not just to say, hey, we'll share my podcast, but you gave us a lot of information that somebody that may be out there struggling with something
absolutely
could hear and go.
And that's another piece. Connect people to us. If you see
something,
send somebody our way, bring them here, support them. If it's somebody, walk through the doors with them, because that's scary.
Yeah. That could be, that's a huge deal.
I mean, we're not scary, but it can be very scary for somebody to take action and actually walk through just uncertainty. So, support in that way.
Go behind and go to a new route. Yeah. So come check them out. Go get involved. Get involved with all the fundraisers that are coming up. There's going to be a lot of great stuff. Just, I don't know how to express it more than just saying, go out there and do something.
Yeah. Just
get on your feet, because you will feel better. If you don't feel like you got the energy to do it, I promise you when you're at the end of it, you'll go, man, I'm glad I did that. Because
I know that for me, if I serve other people, I always feel better.
Yeah. Because I'm the same way. I'm like, that's what I love that feeling. So go out there, get involved, be informed, pay attention to what's going on our legislation, things like that. Like,
oh yeah.
There's so much you can be doing to not just be numb to what's happening and just let it go on.
We had at the state level 160 bills that impacted the work that we do that were put out for legislation this session, just this session.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's a lot.
There's a lot you can be doing. So wherever you're at in that time, there's a place for you somewhere to go and get involved.
Absolutely.
So, again, Jody, thank you so much for being on the show, doing all that. And guys, just listen, get out there, be a voice, watch, do your thing. And thanks for listening to another episode of I Never Met a Stranger I Didn't Like.